All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Authors Unite show. Today I got Diane Faulkner with us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Of course, grateful to have you on. I know you're in Jacksonville, so I know this is live. Hurricane's coming, so thanks for taking the time. So to kick us off, tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Well, I am a ghostwriter. I'm also a content marketing strategist and editor. So I'm busy on all fronts, as you can probably imagine.
Oh yeah.
I've written 4 books. I just finished my 4th book, and can't tell you what it's about, obviously, because I ghosted it. But I write for people like Forbes and trade journals like Credit Union Management Magazine and the Federal Credit Union and publications like that. Human Resources Professional.
Yeah. So how do you do it? How do you approach a ghostwriting project? Because my company, we are a book publishing company, and we do have ghostwriters, but we more lean towards the marketing. Like, I understand marketing of a book very well, but I can personally never edit somebody else's book and definitely never write somebody else's book. So tell us the process of that. It's fascinating to me.
Well, it's a bunch of interviews. Sometimes it's a bunch of interviews along with a lot of research. Just depends on how helpful the author, which is what you call your client, the author. It just depends on how helpful they want to be. Sometimes you're just writing all of it, just like you would your whole, your regular writing a book for yourself, and they just slap their name on it. But most times what you're doing is you're interviewing them a lot. One way to do it is to just lock yourselves away in a hotel over, a weekend, a long weekend, and just interview the crap out of the person and just get as much out of I call it a brain dump. You get a brain dump from them. And then from there, you shoo them off, and then you just start piecing together what they said, because people don't speak linearly. They have a topic, and then they'll think of something else, and they'll talk all over the place. Oh, I've got to plug my computer in. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm gonna die. There we go. Can't have electronics die during a hurricane.
No, I've actually used that term before, brain dump. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And when people ask me like how to write a book, I always, and this is just my opinion, this is what works for me, is just like get everything out of your head, a brain dump first, and then you actually have something to work with. And I think that's where most people like trip up, is they're trying to perfect a mess that's in their head, and like, title, subtitle, introduction, first chat, and like make it such a perfect process. And in reality, it isn't so perfect. Like, there's like all these ideas in your head. You got to get it out, look at it, and then organize from there. It's hard to organize all that info up here without seeing anything.
Yeah, I've only done my first book. That's kind of what I did. I had everything organized in my head. I use Scrivener now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great tool. And it's only like $45. I don't know why more writers don't use it, but I can take the transcripts and take them apart and put them in their own little folders. So I'll have a theme for each folder, and I can pretty much line up the chapters that way, and easily see what's missing. And I can go back and do some follow-up interviews with the author. But that's how I work now.
Got it. Okay. And do you have any of your own books, or only ghostwritten?
I've only ghostwritten. I'm working on my own book, but it's not a business book. I generally write business books, ghostwrite business books, but I'm writing a mystery.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. When did you decide to do that? Has that been like something you've been wanting to do for a while?
It's been something that I've wanted to do for a while. I've had an idea. Actually, what I had was a title, and everything just kind of grew around that title. The title was Espresso Yourself.
Okay.
So it's a cozy mystery, which I don't know if you know what a cozy mystery is, but it's like an Agatha Christie. Okay. Do you know Agatha Christie? She's like the queen of the cozy mysteries, where you you have some, it's not a police procedural where you're following around a detective. It's some regular person who winds up, in the middle of something and then winds up solving the mystery or helping the police solve the mystery. So,
Okay.
But yeah. I've got it set in a fictional town, which is around Jacksonville, south of Jacksonville, north of Ponte Vedra.
Yeah.
And I'm calling it Osprey View. And I had to go through and do a Google search on, I was going to call it Osprey, but there's already a town named Osprey in Florida. I didn't want it to be named anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. And I think we talked about that prior, I believe, about like Ponte Vedra and like all that. Like I've been all over there. Jacksonville, for everybody listening, and I'm sorry to let the secret out on the show, but it's a cool place. And like I feel like I think it's really cool. I like it. Like, and maybe for me it's like kind of like the hustle and bustle of Miami. When I went to Jacksonville, it just felt like a breath of fresh air. I was like, this place is nice, it's relaxed. Especially like Ponte Vedra and like up there in Neptune, there was like some of these, like it almost had like a saloon type of feel. I think a little below Neptune, I can't remember the name of that. Atlantic, I think. Atlantic
Beach.
Yeah, it was. It's cool. I thought I mentioned it because I knew of Jacksonville, but I never really heard anything about it. So I never had any reason to go there until I had a client that lived in Ponte Vedra, and I was like, wow, this is a cool place. And I think state's starting to go up. People are starting to figure this out. Jacksonville's sick.
We don't want too many people to figure it out. Traffic's bad enough.
I know. So you got that. Now, your approach to writing fiction and nonfiction. Is there a big difference, or is it similar?
That's a good question. My approach to writing nonfiction is, my approach to writing nonfiction is I have to find what the theme is, find what someone else's theme is. Yeah. For fiction, I already know what my theme is, so I can pretty much build my characters, and you don't have to build characters obviously with nonfiction, doing the ghostwriting. Yeah. And but with ghostwriting, it can pretty much, or with the ghostwriting business books anyway, it can pretty much lay itself out as long as you've got someone who's willing to talk, and give you all the information that you need. But with fiction, you're sitting there, you're dreaming up scenarios and trying to dream up some red herrings. There's a lot to piece together with the fiction, I'm finding.
Yeah, that's why I like to write fiction. I can't even imagine, like, already, okay, writing a whole, not somebody else's nonfiction, mind blown. But to do like a fiction, there's so many loose ends you got to tie up, Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I would get lost. I would be like, I don't know where I am in this story,
There's a lot of going back and rereading, especially because I'm having to do this in between doing other people's books. Yeah. So I'll have to go back and reread what I wrote. But again, that's another. I feel like I'm an advertisement for Scrivener here, but that's another good thing about Scrivener is, you've got it. You can outline your story in Scrivener with your chapter files. Yeah. And move them around as needed, and you can see very easily what's missing and what isn't. What is where your trajectory is going with your story.
Got it. Yeah. No, that makes sense. So, how do you get into like writer's flow, or do you get into like some sort of flow? Because I feel like to write like that, you gotta be able to tap in pretty often. Yeah,
you do. For me, I'm with business writing, with doing other people's books. That's totally a daytime endeavor. Okay. I have to. I have my things that I have to do to get myself ready. I'll go out. I'll walk, exercise. I'll walk 7 miles that morning. Oh yeah. Every morning, so that I get all my energy out, and allow myself to be able to sit for hours on end to write someone else's book. But again, you know, you're basically pulling quotes all day long and then writing around those quotes. So it's ghostwriting is much, much easier than doing the fiction work. With fiction, I need to tap into another side of creativity there. So that's nighttime work for me. I don't do that in the office. I do that in bed.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
It's gotta be quiet.
Yeah.
You know, I can't have interruptions with nonfiction. I can have interruptions and get right back into the flow, but I can't with fiction. I just can't, because you're holding that stories in your head, you know.
Yeah. You take a psychedelic and go in.
Yeah, really. I wish. Yeah, no, we don't do that here.
That was just good. No, but I'm very similar. Like, I have to do that with almost any type of work. Like, every morning I go work out, and usually it's cardio related. And I found that's definitely like a flow trigger, if you will. Like, if I don't do a workout in the morning, my whole day is a mess. Like, it just doesn't work.
It's shot. I'm not productive if I don't do that in the morning.
Yeah, like, it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Whether I feel like doing it or not, I just have to force myself to do it, because when I do give in and every once in a while and don't walk, or if it's raining, I won't walk when it's raining. I walk outside. But I find my day is just shot. I have no productivity.
yeah, and I think outside's better, I think, too. Like, I'll do the treadmill and stuff if I have to, but I like an outside walk. And same as you, there's a right near here, at least, where I'm currently at, there's like a lake, and it's 6 miles around. So,
okay.
you know, I think it takes me like an hour and a half to walk around it. Something.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm always, I know what you're saying. Like, before, sometimes I question it, but like every time after I do the workout, I'm glad I did it. So I've gotten smart enough now to just realize, like, dude, I know you don't want to do it today, but like, you'll be happy after. So just do it.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's always a good thing afterwards. So, okay. So now, what else? So you ghostwrite books, you're doing your mystery. Is there anything else on the plate of business? Like, do you have like a ghostwriting course, or is it you just like to strictly stick to those things?
No, I also do content marketing. Marketing. So, and that I'll do, I do that with, you know, through companies, by contacting the company, seeing if they need any writing, whatever. I'll develop clients that way. I've written for Forbes, their posts. I've done theirs.
Yep.
Let me see. And then different magazines. I'll write for the different magazines for their online version. Mm-hmm. So there's quite a bit of work out there.
Now, how did you become a writer for Forbes? Am I saying that correctly? Right.
Yeah, a contributing writer. Well, I kind of backed into that. I wrote something for ADP, which is a great big payroll company.
Okay.
And the company that had hired me to do that, I guess they also had Forbes as a client. So yeah. Forbes wound up buying out the piece, and they did that a few times with my work. So, which, you know, I'm fortunate, you know, because I never thought to pitch Forbes. Didn't think I had to write for Forbes, but apparently I did, because they liked what I wrote. So that's how I became a contributing writer for them.
Got it. Okay, nice. So just kind of natural through a relationship or previous business partnership. Yeah. That's sick. See, and sometimes it's just like relationships. It's just like, it's natural. It doesn't have to always be like a target, you know, that you're going towards. It just happens sometimes. Yeah,
this last book that I did, I belong to a group called Women Business Owners, and one of the other members had, she just wanted to get to know me and asked me to lunch and asked me, you know, what I did, and I was telling her, and she happened to mention to a friend of hers who had wanted to write a book that, you know, that she knew a ghostwriter. Yeah. And then that's how that book came about, just from networking that way. I didn't really even do it. Well, in the first book that I did, I was interviewing a couple who owned an international consulting company. They're based out at the beach. And I was doing a profile on them for the Jacksonville Business Journal. And while they wanted me to meet their staff and everything. So as they were gathering their staff, or their staff was gathering into the room, they took me aside and said, listen, we've been trying to write a book, and we just can't do it. Do you ghostwrite books? I had never done it before. And I just said, I can do that for you. So,
that's like a Richard Branson quote.
No problem.
Yeah.
So that was my first ghostwriting gig, and that was my first editing gig also.
Yeah.
I had to edit the book, and the book editing is through relationships also. So I've done book after book.
Yeah, and the thing is too with books is like, I feel like almost everybody wants to do a book. So it's like if you do, this is what just with us, but we realize like every book launch we do that goes well, we'll get a few clients from them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just like for you, like every ghostwriting book that you do and it comes out really good, like a book is something that you share. So like, obviously there's marketing involved and stuff. We do Facebook ads and all that, but there's nothing better than just having a happy client with a book, because that person wants to give their book to everybody, and then just naturally kind of grows. So, which is, you're a prime example of that. And I noticed that you got some books behind you. Yeah. So what's your favorite book? Are you an avid reader as well?
I'm an avid reader. I have like 4 books on my bedside right now. For nonfiction, I've got a couple favorites. One is The Introvert's Edge, which is by Matthew Pollard and Derek Lewis. And it's great. It's a great book on sales, which sounds very boring, but the book is not boring at all. And it's great for writers because chapter 10, I've been a walking commercial for Matthew's book, because chapter 10 is Derek Lewis, who ghostwrote the book. He wrote all of chapter 10 by request of the author and revealed himself. And she goes through exactly how he sells his ghostwriting business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's wonderful. I closed a deal based on that chapter 10. I read the chapter 10, I reread the chapter 10, I wrote some notes, took that with me to my meeting, and I closed it just like that. So that's a favorite book. Profit First by Mike, I'm going to mangle his name. Mike Michalowicz, or Michalowicz.
Got it.
First.
Yep, I've heard of that book.
It's great. It's wonderful. It is. It shows you exactly what you should do to make a profit, how you can make profit, how you should take your profit first, and then take your taxes out. It's you have different accounts for all of these things, and people who have. I'm in a book club, and this was one of the books that we read, and everyone in the book club, or almost everyone in the book club, had read this book before, the first version of it, and tried this. And one lady said that she had been in business for 13 years. She's been doing the Profit First activities, whatever, for 7 months. And she said it's the first time in 13 years she's shown a profit.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and another lady who runs the book club, who's an attorney, she did it for a year and a half, or she's been doing it for a year and a half, and she said she would not do anything else. She makes sure that she has her accountant knows Profit First and does her books like that. For writers, a great book for writers is The Freelance Content Marketing Writer by Jennifer Goforth Gregory.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Oh, she's fantastic. She tells you exactly how to structure your business, what you should be doing, even day to day, what you should be doing, week to week, quarter to quarter.
Mm-hmm.
if you are just starting out, or even if you've been in business, I've been in business for 20 years, actually, as of May 7th of this year. It was my 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from that, and I'm implementing a lot of what she, well, not a lot. I'm implementing everything that she, just and seeing the business grow.
Yeah.
For fiction, I like J.A. Jance. She's I actually met her when I spoke at a conference out in Seattle, and she was selling her books on the same floor as where my session was. And during a break, I just happened to, tool on over to her table, and I asked her what genre she wrote in, and she said, well, it's mystery, and boy, is it good. One of her series is set in Seattle. Another of her series is set in Arizona. I really like the J.P. Beaumont series that's set in Seattle, because I remember the places that she describes in the book. And then the Joanna Brady series, which is set in Arizona, is just fast moving. I like her style. It's not a style that I can copy for myself, because I'm writing cozies.
Yeah.
Cozies, you're supposed to be able to write cozies faster than a true mystery. So we'll see. We'll see on that.
I don't know the fiction world I'm trying to think. I don't even know if I've really, this is kind of messed up, but I don't think I've ever really read a full fiction book ever. Actually, maybe when I was younger, I think I read the book Holes. It's called Holes. Have you ever heard of it?
I remember that book.
Yeah. I think I read that, and I tried Harry Potter when I was in like 8th grade. I picked it up and I didn't finish it. I know, like, I don't know. I'm just so like but I want to try. I want to like try it again. I want to go back and like just give it a try, and, like read one. So,
Try Lee Child.
What's it called?
The author's name is Lee Child.
Okay.
What's his name? Tom Cruise made one of his books into a movie.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Lee Child is, where are his books? I can't see the books. But anyway, Lee Child, he's a great author for men.
Okay.
His writing is very fast moving, lots of action, and not a lot of romance. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, start me off slow. I'll tiptoe in there. No, I appreciate that, because, like, I'm curious. I should give it another chance, because when I was in 8th grade, I didn't even like reading to begin with. So I think like that's probably why Harry Potter didn't really just I was like, I'd rather not. I don't know at the time, but now I love reading, so it might actually be something I enjoy. Is sometimes throw in a fiction, or a cozy, maybe a cozy.
Or cozy. You might not like cozy. Well, maybe you like cozies. I don't know. That's kind of a female thing.
I'll start with Lee, and then I'll go into the cozy.
Probably. Well, that movie Jack Reacher.
Oh, that's the one. Okay.
That's his character.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen. I think there's multiple of those. I've seen the first one.
Yeah, there was one before that, but that's kind of like 6 books into his series.
Okay.
You're obviously you don't read series, but when I find a book that I like, I'll go back and find the very first book in the series, and I'll read each book.
Okay.
Through.
Got it.
It's I don't know. It just creates a whole new world for you that you can just escape to, which is why I like reading fiction, because I don't have to put on the thinking cap and remember, this tactic or whatever it is.
It's just like you go,
you go, step out. You're into a different world. You've got all these different characters, and they're interesting and they're funny, and some are really mean, and just live a whole different life through these characters. Great.
Good. Well, you've inspired me. I'm gonna try it.
Good.
say. Well, listen, it's always a pleasure talking to somebody else in the business. So it was great chatting with you. Tell us two things. First, what's the best social for you to connect with you? And then two, like a website if somebody's interested in ghostwriting or content marketing.
Okay. The best way to contact me on social is through LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And it's my name, Diane Faulkner, all one word. And the D is capitalized, the F is capitalized. I don't know if that makes a difference, but it is. For my website is dianefaulkner.com.
Oh, easy enough. There you go. Keep it simple. That's how I like it. Nice.
That's right.
Well, thanks for going on, Diane. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you asking me. Thank you. You're very welcome.